Okay. So if you actually, hope you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I think let's just give you some information, right? So this is M365. So if you look at Microsoft, the way they organize their products, there is usually a E3 or E5 subscriptions. And for small businesses, there is something called Business Premium. And for schools and colleges, they have A3 and A5, stands for academic. Okay. And for frontline, they have F3 like that. Okay. Frontline device licenses. So these are all actually called subscriptions. Okay. Every organizations will have one or the other subscription. So the majority of the organizations will have E3. Any organization with above 300 seats, 300 people, and they are using one or the other Office 365 services or identity, they will anyways have this license for sure. Okay. Mostly, yes. So what does this contain? Okay, so I'll just give you, there are so many things that E3 contains, but I'll just give you at a very high level as to what this contains. First thing, it contains Office Suite. Okay, so what does Office contain? So Office contain Exchange, which is your emails. Okay, and this contains OneDrive. So SharePoint. So Teams, all this Teams channel, Teams callings. Okay, and then, yes, there are a lot of things. Yammer, like it's a Viva, right? Nowadays it's called Viva. Forms, uh, all this to-do list, and then Office applications like Word, uh, PowerPoint, Excel, and then so all the Office productivity tools. Okay, so this is called productivity tools. Okay. So, and in order to manage Exchange, we have Exchange Admin Center, SharePoint Admin Center, OneDrive Administration Center, and then Teams. Every product has an admin center where an admin can log in and administer the whole settings and policies and deploy some things to a group of users or group of devices. Okay. And remember, entire whatever is this M365 is the user-based subscription. Okay. It all depends on number of users in our organization, and 90% of all the solutions within M365 is user based, which means if a license is assigned to a user, only then he can use all of these products. For example, you join an organization today, a new company, and they will ask you your username and then all of your phone numbers. Once an account is created, they will assign an M365 license to you. Once they assign a license to you, you will now get an Exchange email inbox, OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams, all of that within half an hour or 20 minutes, not more than that. Okay. So it is as simple as assigning a license. Assign a license, everything is ready. Okay. So that is one component, one big component as a part of M365. Next actually comes, we can say enterprise mobility and security, which is nothing but EMS, or within this, it's nothing but Intune is a major product here. So what does Intune does, which is our course, right? So Intune is nothing but it just device management, um, cloud-based device management solution, which means that every organization has a group of devices, either laptops or mobile phones or client devices, Windows 10, Windows 11, Linux, and then Linux endpoint operating system, end operating system, and the client operating system, not the server. It has Android, iOS, and then uh, yeah, so Mac OS. So all of the client devices we need to manage. So what is the meaning of manage? Yes, right. So it's deploying policies, security policies, non-security policies, settings, and then applications and monitoring it, monitoring the location, and then antivirus deployment, and then definitions update, and then updates, patching, all of that application updates, everything is done by Intune, okay, in the cloud, in a cloud way, meaning it just your client devices just need internet connection. It doesn't require any on-premise access or on-premise server or data center access at any cost. Uh, that's again Intune. So that is what our focus is. So our focus is mainly Intune. So because we talk about endpoints, we also need to protect our endpoints, right? In order to protect our endpoints, that is where we have a defender for endpoint. So Intune, and then this all combines to form a product which can manage and also secure the endpoints. It is not just about managing the endpoints and deploying something, it is also securing something. So what is MDE? So MDE is the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. If you want some equivalent products, some of the competitors in the market is something like CrowdStrike. People might have heard of what is Sentinel-1, and then Sophos, VMware Carbon, Symantec, McAfee, all of these antivirus, anti-malware, and EDR. Okay, so antivirus and anti-malware is a traditional way of calling those applications. So now we actually don't use any of the old methods of telling you it's a antivirus anti-malware solution. Okay, so we usually say these are EDR. Okay, so EDR is endpoint detection and response. Basically, it's a cloud-based device monitoring. So the devices are always monitored for the latest threats. Okay, so basically we are using a threat protection software like Defender for Endpoint. And EDR, the reason why we call EDR is it's always on the fly. It's like live monitoring of your device for any behavior issues, like, some monitoring. Basically, if you edit a registry, if you monitor, if you install a PowerShell script that goes and modifies some system files, right? That behavior is monitored and stopped immediately. So always connected online. So you're live, your devices is being monitored live every time. So it's a combination of device management and device security. So that is a powerful combination. If you now go and search jobs after this class, Intune and Defender for Endpoint roles outside in the market. So that is all they wanted. And if you learn as soon as possible, it is much better within 1 year and 1.5 year. But because we don't have experts, so even your interviews will become easy. So once, like, the market gets saturated, uh, yeah, then there is a competition. Then people might have worked in the production environment, and then people will, of course, ask tough questions, right? So where are we? This is Defender for Endpoint. That is what we are learning. Okay. And not just that. Okay. We have further more products, something called as Defender for Cloud Applications, or uh, the recent name change is applications. Okay. So we usually, what we do here in this product, we have endpoints, right? So MDCA and then MDR work together. By the way, I'm not trained, and our training doesn't cover all the other products. I'm just giving only this, which is in blue circle, we are talking about. Okay, this again, I have another, we'll also talk about little bit Entra. So what is Entra? Entra, the earlier name for Entra was Azure AD. Okay, but as soon as you listen to Azure AD, please, most of us, till then, till some years, we always thought Azure AD is nothing but it is a Active Directory in the cloud. Okay, so that is completely wrong. So Azure AD or Entra ID is the identity and access management solution from Microsoft. It is similar to Okta, like that. Okay. I would request everyone to mute for today.
Only the join will not work if you use the join symbol.
I am not
Right.
sure if someone is
So for
speaking
that
to
we
me.
need so gather and join both are working. If the join is nothing but just it will bring that particular data,
Can
but
you
you are not able to see the info of that. Or to see what exactly the combinations of the data or the
so can you all mute? I'm not able to mute myself. Yeah, no, right? Okay. Okay, sorry. So MDCA is it's a different product. Okay. So what does MDCA does is it's a shadow IT or discovery tool. Okay. So We are talking about protection of endpoints, right? So that is endpoints getting attacked. Okay. And this MDCA is protection of uh, endpoints with some malicious cloud applications. That's one of the use case. Okay. Which means that if you have some bad site, that site doesn't open from your laptop. Okay. The cloud applications, any cloud application or any website uh, will actually be blocked. Okay. So nowadays, yeah, the immediate requirement is block DeepSeek, block Gemini, block ChatGPT. Yeah, all that we can actually do on their endpoints. And then imagine this, like, okay, if you have some kind of attachment into your Outlook application, and you suddenly go ahead and upload it into Google Drive or WhatsApp, so that will be blocked with the product MDCA. Okay, or if you're using any of the Dropbox box to download the applications, upload the applications, so IT can monitor it. Okay, anything related to cloud applications, that's the reason cloud application will be monitored and blocked. Okay, so that's a shadow IT discovery product of within the M365. Okay, so what else you have? So you further have something called as MDO, which is Defender for Office. So Microsoft has now various terms starting with Defender. Okay, Defender for. So Defender for Office is protecting data of all these things now, like Teams attachments. If you write something in Teams, attachments in Teams, downloading, protecting data, some malicious attachments, email share, bad links. Okay, and if your OneDrive has some sensitive information, okay, it's like financial information, like trade secrets, so entire things. Okay, so you have Defender for Office, and we have Purview. So there's another product called Purview. We have something called as Insider Risk Management called ISR. Okay, so everything is a part of M365. Okay, that's a base subscription. Then you can add on for advanced features. For example, in our case, MDE itself is covers 4 to 5 different sub modules like vulnerability management, like any threats that could possibly that could possibly happen on your endpoints based on misconfiguration or weak configuration, like ports opening, like some network cards being not protected, and then some URLs being blacklisted or whitelisted. So we are vulnerable to some software applications, or vulnerable to operating system older version itself. So that is also a part of MDE. Okay. So likewise, there are so many other products within M365. From what I know, at least there are nearly 20 different products, 24 to be precise, I think. So out of these, like, the major ones, of course, are Exchange, OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams, Viva, Purview, Insider Risk Management, and then Entra ID, the core, okay, the umbrella for everything. So Intune, Defender for Endpoint, and then comes MDCA. What else? I mean, there's so many other products. Okay, and yeah, I can go on. Okay, so but yeah, so I just gave you some information on how this entire M365 subscription is purchased by organization, and these are all licensed. Okay, so what is our agenda? Okay, to be very honest. Okay, so straightforward. Okay, I'll show you. I'll share the exact topics. Just give me a second. Sorry. Mm, Okay, so I'm just sharing you the training topics. Okay. So normally, I do have all these four different batches. So from what you see is this uh, Intune L1 to L3. I'll just start from fundamentals, basics, like product licensing, what is Entra ID, and then we talk about cloud versus hybrid, and then how on-premise solutions were earlier, and how is Intune and any other modern device management solution based on MDM protocol works, and then and then uh, yeah. So the most important part of any learning is you all should have your own labs. Okay, and that labs, you don't have to invest a lot. There is nothing investment, it's all free, as long as you have one client device, a client virtual machine. So Windows 10 or Windows 11 should be fine. So that you need to arrange yourself. So there are multiple ways on which you can arrange. Okay, so you can just use your credits, Azure credits, and create a virtual machine. If you're already working in an organization, so you can talk and create a virtual machine for testing and learning purpose. And if you have a good 16 GB Windows laptop, a personal laptop, you can install Hyper-V or Oracle Box or Workstation, VMware Workstation, and then create your virtual machine. That's the only requirement, okay, from you all. The other thing is, of course, we have Intune trial licenses where you can just subscribe for 30 days and extend it for another 60 days or 30 days. So within that 60 days to 30 days, you can actually uh, do your trainings and learnings. Okay. So that's the foremost preference. Okay. But just in case for some reason you guys were not able to set up your trial accounts because you already set up, you don't have any more accounts, phone numbers, all that, right? Duplicate accounts you cannot set up. And as a last resort, yeah, I will give my lab for you all for testing, for learning, but I cannot provide you virtual machines or any Windows client machines. And coming back to mobile phones, uh, you all should have your own again, mobile phones. You can test it with your personal phones. Nothing happens. Have your personal lab and personal phone for testing. Okay. That hardly testing requires another 2 days or one day. For one day or 2 days, you can use your phone for testing and learning. Okay. Deploying simple policies like password policies, blocking cameras, blocking Bluetooths, all the few things you can actually test it to really feel the product. Okay. So, and let me tell you, there are around 10,000 settings from Intune to devices. You cannot really test all those 10,000 settings, right? But you can test some functionalities. So, as if you really feel confident of testing and learning and identifying the flow and then monitoring the logs and monitoring the event viewers, and really understand the prerequisites of any policy, that should be easy. You'll enjoy the product. Okay. So the base and the concepts are important. It all depends how you all take it. Okay. There is no absolutely spoon feeding. Okay. I'll not come and go into every lab and do it. So, but I will help you during the initial lab setup. So see, it's very simple, right? So this is um, only in this training center. This is my 18th batch. So imagine 18 into 25. So there are like 600 people out of uh, 400 to 500 people. Not everyone took interest, right? They come and they go. But half of them, at least, they try to create the labs. So half of them, it's waste, right? So I want to reduce that number. So with all the feedback I got is to spend more time on creating your lab and helping everyone has labs. So once you all have lab, right? So it's all self-explanatory. You'll have a console, you'll have a client, right? So you need to learn something like concept, policy, what does it do, and then test it on the device and check the logs. So that's the blueprint of any learning. If not this product, any other product. So you need to have a lab first and then test it and then see what happens. So for BitLocker, for example, BitLocker is a concept where when we learn about it, right? We spend 2, 3 hours to understand what is BitLocker, and then we use a tool like Intune to deploy a BitLocker policy to a client. And client should able to understand the reading the policy and then encrypt it, trigger an encryption, a native BitLocker of Windows. And then how does it do? Where does it do? What event logs will check? Anyways, today's internet world will have everything. Okay, but I'll show you step by step on most important policies. Okay, like defender policies. Okay, attack surface reduction policies from the defender for endpoint, and then we'll talk about the uh, credential guard policy, whitelisting of blacklisting of URLs, websites, domains like Facebook.com. You can just block it, but you need a defender for endpoint product. Okay, so with Intune alone, you cannot do. And now you know why these two combination is important, right? If you look at the licensing part, everyone already have it. They already have it. Everyone has M365 E3. Whether they use it or they don't use it is their budget problem. When I say budget, they have more budget. That's why they're using third-party products. If you already have a Defender for Endpoint, which is again a market leader, just like Sentinel-1, why will people use Sentinel-1? Okay. So, but anyways, I'll talk about each and every policies here. So as I told you, right? So last week, I'm sure some people will pick up on their own. They just come here for refreshing. They come here for learning to just another product. But there are people who require some kind of handholding and guidance on how to move forward, prepare your resumes. I'm sure everyone's resumes, most of them, every based on what I see, 80% of the people's resumes are not good. Okay. Really not good simply because they have 5 pages, 4 pages. No one reads the resumes. We have to understand that basic point. No one really reads resume. In future, it's all about AI scanning your and filtering your resumes. So it's all about keywords, right? So and each resume should be different for each job application. So all these simple tricks we'll talk about during the end of our course, and how can you upgrade your existing skills. Like once you know about Intune and Defender for Endpoint, what next? Like no more details, L2, L3 level of 3, 4 products. Okay. The reason again, sorry, my throat is bad nowadays. So no one in the world can learn more than 5 products in their history, in their career. Okay. They can learn, they can work on 100 products, but no one can confidently say they know 5 products. They can only know 5 or 4 products, right? So, and every product require 1 or 2 years of proper production experience for us to even say that, yeah, I know something. Okay. So if someone says, no, I know all the products, then they really don't know what is that product only. Okay. So if you go into MDE, it takes a lot of time. MDO is a big product. Okay. So Intune itself will take 1.5 year, 1 year to really know something about it. And by the time you come back to your own product, and after 2, 3 years, that product itself has changed, right? This is so fast moving. Everything that you see 2, 3 years back is not there in Intune now. Okay. So everything, it's there, but they have added so many things. Okay. So that keeps changing. Okay. Every month, there are one or the other 2 products features added to the existing cloud version, not just Intune, any product. Even in Entra ID, the Entra ID in last 4 years has changed enormously. Okay, it is completely replacing VPNs now. So there is no more VPN. Okay, I'm telling you. Okay, you will not have any VPNs. People who know how to adapt Entra ID global secure access. Okay, and in fact, it is going to even replace the existing Zscalers or any other SASE solution of many organizations. Okay, all this with much lesser cost. Okay. Yeah, that is one thing I do, and this training is purely on that. And usually I cover another L1, L2, and L3 of each course. When I say L1, L2, L3, I cover all. But if someone needs L3 and L4, each product is a separate training course of like 12 hours or 10 hours. So this I think I'll probably start next week, and then I have a separate for experienced Intune people. where we talk about a consulting or an architectural level of experience who works on deployments and migrations. Okay, so that's usually for large organizations. This is mostly into how do we migrate existing devices, what are the standard practices of deploying in an different industries, like healthcare is a different industry, medical is a different industry. What are the policies that you need to adapt? And then what are the best practices? Normally, all these environments are hybrid environments, meaning, yeah, the devices are actually joined to Entra ID, sorry, joined to on-premise Active Directory and also registered with Entra ID. And then a lot of people have questions on cloud labs, SCAP vendors. Okay, so this is a huge subject and then confusing part. A lot of things, again, people ask what is CSPs and then group policy analytics. Okay, and then comes to the mobile phones where they need some more details. And by the time I could complete this course, 4 times I did this course, though I say it takes 20 hours, 24 hours, it'll really cross 32 hours because experienced people come up with different topics, different production scenarios, real-time scenarios. So though I cover all this, but they'll keep on asking other questions as well. So that's more of a discussion class where I cover all this and also bring up any existing Intune challenges. Okay, so so that's all I have. That's the training things I have. But if you have any questions, yeah, please, since it's our first class, light, please have any questions, yeah, put that in the chat. Let me go ahead and answer. So I mean, yeah. So I know every time I start a batch, people ask questions about whether it'll fit me or not. Okay, whether this subject belongs me or not. So as I told you already, so people. Uh, who did a good homework on what is this product, please join. And who have not done, talk to me. And but I'll still give some introduction right now, which I mean, see, you saw the product where it sits, right? So now, why do we learn? Let me again just give you why you can start a career if you don't have a good background. A lot of people ask, I'm caught up in a place where I don't know what to do. I don't know what I need to choose a career as. Okay, so first I'll answer that question. So if you look at, let me just, everyone should know what's Gartner report. Okay, Gartner Magic Quadrant. Okay, so say for example, last year I'll take, every year it comes. So I'll just type CrowdStrike. Okay, so Gartner report is nothing but a report that most companies look out, I mean, read before deciding to buy some product or implementing a solution, mostly big enterprises. So if you look at the Gartner Magic Quadrant 2024 on, look, I'm not sure if you can see this. This is the, I'm not sure if it's clear, but if you look at the Gartner Magic Quadrant and look at where CrowdStrike and Microsoft is, they're almost, this is a leaders quadrant. I mean, the top products. And then comes the visionaries, the second best. And then comes the challengers. And then comes the niche players who have the potential to become big. And it's up to it's them. That's their um so this is a little bit clear now. So there is no doubt why we shouldn't be learning a product that's already a leader now. Okay. And since it is Microsoft, just like any other solution in the world, if Microsoft comes here, they will beat everyone. Okay, all other products will now just go down. The customer numbers and people will start migrating from these solutions to Microsoft. It happened with UEM. Um, with that comment. So